I've been thinking an awful lot about insulin lately, and I wanted to share a few notes of that with my friends here who are listening. So that's what this video is going to be all about, is a little bit more about insulin. So insulin, for those who don't know, is a growth hormone in the body, and it is one of the major reasons why our cancer rates are so high, and specifically like our hormonally induced cancer rates right now. So I'll go through that a little bit. So insulin is typically secreted from the pancreas. We have cells within the pancreas that kind of keep an eye out for things. So if we eat a meal, our blood sugar will rise. So when our blood sugar rises, this signals from the pancreas to release the insulin. So insulin goes through the blood, and it goes and it takes the sugar and it brings it in the cell. It says, "Hello, thank you for coming. Let me show you in where you should be," right? So a lot of the times, we are either eating a lot of carbohydrates. We don't have anywhere actually to usher that sugar. So what will happen is our blood sugar stays up high in the bloodstream because our fat cells are full. Our other cells, they don't need any more energy. So the sugar just sits in the bloodstream and insulin basically has no function. However, our blood sugar is staying up and elevated, so our pancreas is saying, "Oh, keep sending the troops out there. Everybody keep doing your job. Keep working, keep doing your job." Now, this is like an on switch. This is a chronically turned on switch, and this is very, very unhealthy for us, and we'll see a lot of complications that come from these levels staying very elevated in the blood. High blood sugar is diabetes, high insulin levels, insulinemia, probably said that wrong. Anyway, but there's a lot of issues that come with this chronic on switch being turned on. There's a whole list of genetic components that don't need this constant on switch, this on stimulus from us, from our bodies, from the environment. So insulin also has a twin, a sidekick, a yin and a yang is what I call the major hormones of the body. There's usually a yin and a yang to it. So when we go into the fasted state, this is why I'm a huge fan of fasting and just exercise and movement and weight training specifically, because we can access the opposite, the yin, if you will, to insulin, which is glucagon. So, and it's actually very interesting, guys. I want to invite you guys to Google. A lot of the pharmaceutical drugs are now designed, like Ozempic and these great multi-billion-dollar drugs. They're designed to actually stimulate and release more glucagon into the bloodstream. So if you have problems with cholesterol, triglycerides, this is actually what your medications are designed to do, is to stimulate this other side of the functioning of insulin, which is glucagon. So when glucagon is elevated, insulin is going to be not in the picture, because what happens is our cells are always looking at the environment. So they say, "Oh, let's say we haven't eaten in a day, we've been fasting, we've been working out, we've been fasting," and the cells look at the area and they say, "Wow, Rachel's blood sugar is kind of low. I think we're gonna throw some glucagon out in the bloodstream. We're gonna take some sugar. We need to make some sugar. So we're gonna break it down from these fats that are being stored, from these triglycerides that are being stored, and we'll have plenty of sugar." I don't know what she's doing, but we will take care of this issue so that she can go about her day. She can feel just fine and good. So that's what happens. That's the function of glucagon, is ushering the sugar out. Insulin ushers it in, glucagon ushers it out. So this is the whole reason that I actually fell in love with weight training, to be honest, because what we have when a lot of people I was struggling with some mental health stuff in my past, and a lot of people who struggle with mental health neurological diseases of any kind, even traumatic brain disorder, Alzheimer's and dementia we know as diabetes type 3, it's a problem with bringing energy into the cell. So it's an energy usage problem. I call it a digestive issue. So a lot of the foods, even our Wi-Fi, stress, any type of stress is when cortisol goes up too, we secrete sugar. Because if I was in the jungle and I was running away from my predator, my body would be oozing cortisol so that I would be able to grab enough sugar and be able to escape immediate danger, and I would be okay. And just to provide enough sugar also for my brain so that I could think my way out of my current situation that I'm in. If I needed to find food or what have you, I needed to outsmart my predator. So weight training is one of the best ways, and I always tell people, if I can't help myself, if I'm talking to someone very passively and they're like, oh, I'm pre-diabetic or I'm diabetic, I'm like, reversing insulin resistance is one of the most doable things ever, no matter how far along you are. If your pancreas is still putting out insulin, your body is able to go through its natural rhythm, its natural phase of digestion. So no matter how far along you are, your body's always capable of creating, again, this sensitivity. And this is also why they say exercise is the best thing for us. Do it. Do more of it. Me, I'm a why person. I need to know things. I'm going to ask why, what's the function? I am so stubborn. I got to know the nitty-gritty of everything going on. So mental health disorders, if you're struggling with your mental health, you're likely struggling with your central metabolism, your body's natural way of taking care of all of these sugars. And it's just about escaping the cycle of resistance. It's the cycle of resistance. So how do you do that every morning? Every day is a new day to get back into your circadian rhythm, to create these sensitivities that your body is beautifully born with, intelligently designed with. And a lot of it is becoming aware of even the food choices that we take. So a lot of times I will say I stick to my animal-based proteins. I stick to my proteins, my fats, my sunlight, and I do participate in my carbohydrates when I want to. However, if I don't need the extra sugar, if it's just gonna raise my blood sugar, and I know what's happening, like if I'm in a stressed out place in my life or whatever, I know that I may be experiencing more cortisol released if I'm not feeling very relaxed. So I'm going to try and strength train, try and put my body back into this place of sensitivity. And it doesn't have to be very difficult. It could be a few calf raises in the morning. It could be a few slow push-ups in the morning, 3 slow push-ups, 3 slow squats. I used to call them sink squats. But it could be so easy in you regaining your ability to digest again. And look at these pharmaceutical drugs. Look at what they're designed to do, is to recreate this digestion that is inherently a part of our design. So, I believe everyone's capable of this. And honestly, if I could do it, anybody could do it. And a lot of people, I think, they see me now and they don't see the journey and the struggles that I went through. And now people say to me, you make this look effortless. Do you even work out? And I don't work out as hard as I used to. And I don't have this mentality that it has to be super, super hard and difficult, because if I do have this mentality, then my likelihood of getting up and being, excited in the morning to pursue these little small habits and routine becomes really hard. Now, people like David Goggins, if you have a mentality like that, and that's what gets you through, that's great. But, I'll speak for most of the women who we have to keep an eye on our menstrual cycles, and we are very much in tune with the patterns of our environment, the patterns of the earth, because our bodies, whether you want to be pregnant or not, is always tuned into, is this a safe environment for me to reproduce and create? So we have to constantly listen to these ebbs and flows, and I do this when I'm doing my fasting cycles too. Is I'm not going to fast in certain times of my cycle and times of the month like that. So really just tuning in, listening, making it as simple as possible, because who wouldn't want to? If I have to wake up and I say I go to the gym, okay, Rachel, you have to lift 300 pounds. I don't want to do that. Does anyone want to do that? Maybe not. Maybe you want to go the rough core, hardcore masculine mentality where you're like, yeah, bro, I have to do this. But I know a lot of people would rather say, if I could do a few push-ups in the morning, a 10-minute walk in the morning, and maybe this throughout the day, wouldn't that be much easier? And I promise you, I've gone through the phases of the hardcore masculine mentality in the beginning of my workout routine, and now I say that I train within the feminine. So now it's more relaxed, laid back, and I take advantage of time more than anything. So I'll be making videos in the future talking more about timing, as timing is always more important than quality or quantity. The amount that you're doing, your timing is everything. So, like morning sunlight. So, I hope this is helpful. This was a bit longer a video than what I'm used to. For those regaining insulin sensitivity, you got this. Apple cider vinegar before the meals, great little tidbit there for people who are struggling with their insulin and their glucose. Walks after your meal, and movement in the morning. So good luck. Like it and share it if you found this helpful. Please help me share my message with other people or anyone who may be struggling, who needs to hear this too. Anybody with mental health stuff. That's what it's all about. So anyway, good luck.